Well, I bet you were just waiting with bated breath for my next video. I just do videos when I get the urge to do them. Sometimes I'll do a few in a row, and then other times it might be a week, or shit, it's been months sometimes. So, although I'm trying to be a little bit more conscientious about my appearance here now and then, just to guide the masses. Got to have a sense of humor, you know. I saw this movie that I haven't seen, and I don't know if I've ever seen it, really. It was an old Western. And, who did it have in it? Sterling Hayden, that's who it had. Excuse me. Sterling Hayden and some beautiful young Mexican señorita. That was a great movie, and you know what it was about? It was about the Alamo. And it was the first movie about the Alamo, not the one that came later with John Wayne, okay? Which is really, I had no idea how good that movie was, the first one, the original one. And it wasn't even called the Alamo. I think it was called Last Command or something. What a great movie, because as I was watching that movie, I started getting thoughts about, if people out there that are calling themselves patriots, if they really were patriots, I think they would need to maybe refresh their memory a little bit by watching this movie as to what it takes to escape tyranny. What it takes to escape tyranny. Pretty simple question, actually. What does it take to escape tyranny? Well, you look at history. Okay. That might be a good start. You look at history and you find out that almost under any tyrannical regime, I don't care what it is, they had to overthrow it one way or another. And some natives, in some lands, they didn't have any weapons at all. And so what did they do? They made short bamboo sticks. That's where eskrima or eskrima, the art of fighting with short sticks, came from. People having to defend themselves in any way possible. So you always look at history, you look at history to, it kind of tells you where you're going or where you can go. But getting back to the point, tyranny, okay, so that's how they were overcoming tyranny, by fighting. And how about the Alamo? Let's get back to that too, because that's where I started. The Alamo was a perfect example of patriots overcoming tyranny. Okay, that's the point I'm trying to drive home here. That's really the point I'm trying to drive home. Patriots overcoming tyranny and how it exhibited itself in history. And, well, it exhibited itself many ways, but the Alamo was one of them. And those people, now, see, when I was a kid, I was real big into this. In my day, in my era, TV was just a little tube in this huge, gigantic piece of wood cabinet, But in my day, I used to watch all that stuff like Davy Crockett, and man, I had to have a coonskin cap And I lived in Arizona too, and it was pretty much near. I lived in Scottsdale for a time, which was the most western town. Don't know about that now, but back then it sure as hell was. So I was really into that stuff as a kid, and so I naturally had to research. Being the person that I am, I had to research, and besides the movies and everything, or just knowing about them on, let's say, Disney Channel or whatever, I had to research it, and I always was big on researching the Old West. I loved outlaws, go figure. I loved the old lawmen. But see, the lawmen were, I know I go off on tangents here, the lawmen worked both sides of the law, so they were actually outlaws and lawmen. But the Alamo had some colorful characters in there that I really highly respect, like Jim Bowie, or Bowie, however you want to pronounce it. The Bowie knife is how I always said it. Got a few of those myself. Then there was Crockett, of course, and he came in with a crew of people from, I guess, Tennessee, I think, pretty much. And it was about fighting for freedom, and people that were freedom fighters heard the news and decided, hey, you know what, there's going to be a standoff down there against Santa Anna. Santa Anna. Santana. You could say that so many different ways. Santana. Anyway, he was a megalomaniac, tyrannical, bloodthirsty, oppressive. Hey, what does that remind you of? Fool. That they had to overcome to have their freedom down there in Texas. I don't want to go into the politics of it because that could go on for hours about. It was Mexico's land in the first place, and yeah, I know all that. But there were Americans living in Mexico too, and it was just the fact that he was a tyrant. He had to be stopped. Just like we see today. Where's all the gung-ho? Where's that phrase, remember the Alamo? Remember the Alamo. Well, you know where that came from. It came from the group that came in after, headed up by, oh man, can't believe I forgot that one. Well, it'll come to me later, but the group that went in there right after with a famous leader that just slips my mind right now, you probably know who I'm talking. Sam Houston? I think it was Sam Houston, yeah. When they came in, they screamed to remember the Alamo, and they whipped Santa Anna's ass, okay? Not only did they do that, but here tell they did some other delicate things to his manhood I don't even want to talk about when they killed him. He did massacre all those at the Alamo, and those men knew that they were fighting to the death. They knew that because they knew that no reinforcements were coming. And Santa Anna was attacking in the mode of, can't remember that either. A certain mode where they raised a red flag and blew the trumpet in a certain way, the bugle, I should say. And that indicated that they would be taking no prisoners. And the people at the Alamo knew this. They knew they were outnumbered like, 30-1 or something. It doesn't look too good when you're in, And there was no help on the way, so they just figured, well, I guess this is it. We're going to die for freedom, and they did, every last one of them. But that's true patriotism. That's true. Man, I think that goes beyond patriotism. I think that goes into brotherhood. Band of brothers, like the movie, only this was before then. This was a band of brothers that really understood, trusted, knew each other very well, most of them. Travis, Colonel William, I think it was William Travis. All of them, they were volunteers. They were freedom fighters, basically. Now, what do we got today? You knew this was coming, didn't you? Well, we got a bunch of lily-livered pussies running around. That's what we got. We got people that talk all day about patriotism and how you have to fight for your freedom, but they whine about how the freedom's been taken away. Well, really? Why the fuck did you let them take it away? Were you asleep at the wheel? You didn't look at history? You think? It's hilarious, these people that are I can't blame them in a way, these younger group of so-called truthers and all this stuff. They're out there, man. They're moving their mouth a mile a minute. But are they talking about answers and solutions and that you might have to fight for your fucking freedom? That's just pathetic. Look at it for what it is. It's pathetic. Lip service, let's give it a lot of lip service about being free. The trouble is, these people have been sitting around on their ass too long and going to Starbucks and drinking their lattes and their whatever. I've been to Starbucks, but I'm telling you, I don't make it a lifestyle, I don't even go there, man. I haven't been to a Starbucks in what? Probably, could be up to 5-7 years. I'm thinking. You don't think about things sometimes when you're living in the desert. Shit, I don't even go into town. I hate it. I'd rather be out here with Mother Earth, the desert, and the critters, and the wide open spaces. Remember the Alamo, people. Remember the Alamo. If you're calling yourself a patriot, okay? Or how about remember 1776? Now, I talked about being a Kalika warrior before, and a big part of that is you got to get the right frame of mind. Got to get the right frame of mind. You got to be grounded. Number one, you got to have some nous or intelligence. You have to have a warrior spirit. You have to be grounded and connected to Mother Earth. You have to ask Mother Earth for direction. Just like all Earth warriors. Crazy Horse, Geronimo, Braveheart. It's a universal, multicultural thing, being a brave warrior in the older traditions, and in, let's say, more, even in the pagan, it's all pagan. Natives are all savages, and the people that were in Europe that had their own tribes over there, they were all just like the natives here, only they got exterminated by the quote-unquote Christians. And the Native American has always had to fight too, because I mean, as long as I'm on the subject of warriorship, let's talk about Geronimo. Let's talk about the Nez Perce and the Chief Joseph. And how about Crazy Horse? And how about Sitting Bull? Okay? Those were some real warriors, and I've talked about them at length in previous videos, probably years ago. Those were true warriors. And those people would fight to the death also, because they did. Either that or they got sent to prison in some ungodly place they weren't used to, as in Geronimo or Goyafle's case. He got sent to Florida. He didn't do too well there in that wet climate but he lived to a ripe old age, I'll give him that. Now, they shipped him to Fort Sill later. Where was that? Oklahoma, I believe. I'm into history. I'm into the Old West. I'm into the early West, the early in the settlement of America. I see things for what it is. I see things for what they are. The people that came in here on the Mayflower, they committed genocide, but but still in the bigger picture, we're all humanity, see? We're all humanity. And it's not just specific races that are being singled out or have been for extermination or genocide. Now it's like, welcome to the res, brother. All you American people out there, welcome to the res. That's all I got to say. Because that's where you are now. You just let it happen. I mean, they just kind of snuck in on you. They snuck in on you. So you can sit out there all day. I mean, listening to these people that are purveyors of being passive, passivity. Yeah, let's just all sit around, man. Check it out, man. Look at all those people coming across the border. This ain't right. This isn't right at all. They're ruining America. These people talk all day long about they're doing this and they're doing that. And can you see what's happening? And it's going to get worse. And okay, people. What kind of solution do you have, man? I'm going to keep beating this drum. What's your solution, Toto? We ain't in Kansas anymore, Toto. What's your solution? There is no solution that you will allow that is connected with violence, and that's where you're wrong. Again, didn't I just give two great examples of, I could give examples. I could tell stories all day, true stories. I'm a storyteller in the native tradition. I can be. I could do that for a living. I mean, I know so much about the Apaches and and my brother Lakota and the Utes and the Hopis and I could go on all day about all the tribes that have beautiful earth teachings, just like the Gnostic view. I mean, that would be, I have a website called Native American Taoist, which is a Taoist point of view, which is very much like Gnosis or very much like being a different kind of warrior and all that kind of stuff. Taoism is a very beautiful, I won't call it a religion, not true Taoism. True Taoism is a philosophy, a deep philosophy, or a way to look at life, let's put it that way. I wrote about it a lot in my book, Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart. I should hold that thing up, huh? I will next time. You can get it at spiritofcrazyhorse.com. spiritofcrazyhorse.com. I just released a hard edition too, which I'm kind of proud of. It's an award-winning book, and it's timeless. It's one of those books just timeless. Just good advice. Good advice. You don't win an award on, I think it was the Cover Award, COVR, Cover Awards, Coalition of Visionary, what's that R stand for? Oh well, but you get my drift. Yeah, you have to be a warrior, you have to be next to Mother Earth. You have to be connected. You have to realize that Mother Earth she's a dream body, okay? She's a dream body. She's dreaming her body because she came from the pleroma, okay? The outer realms of the universe. She is called wisdom. She is called wisdom. Mother Earth is wisdom. Mother Earth created everything else in this, let's say, atmosphere that includes the sun and the planetary systems that revolve around, that we're in, with the sun and the moon and all that stuff. That's all her. Really, that's part of her as she descended into this realm. Mother Earth, Unsimaka, Sophia or Sophia, talk to her. Because she's a dream body and you're in that dream body, so you are a dream body. Realize your connection. Realize your connection. Feel your connection. Breathe in your connection. Listen for instruction and guidance. Not from any kind of media, man. I mean, I've talked so many times about what a joy it would be to just take down the fucking media, and all these people are talking about white hats and all these cheap operations that they do, and I keep saying, take down the media if you're serious. Take down the media. How hard could that be for a trained strike force, a spec ops force? Not that hard. Not that hard. You just go to the source. You go to the transmission, okay? To hell with the satellites and all that shit. You're never going to shoot those down. Not really. Not as a guerrilla team. But you certainly could go here on Earth and find their power source and cut it and blow it up or whatever. Just like the movies, man. Yeah, that's why I don't buy into, it's just a matter of logistics. If you think about, if there were really military guys that really wanted to go in, this is the point I'm trying to make. It would be done already. It would be done. That's the silliness of this shit. So who's going to do it? If they're not doing it, who's going to do it? Well, let me think here a minute. gee, if somebody else isn't going to come in and rescue me, and I'm in a shit storm, and I'm in a whole lot of trouble, and I'm kind of trapped, and people are putting their jack boots on my neck, gee, what am I going to do? It's pathetic, people. And we're talking kids. I mean, it's always been kids were hurt in the mix in any war. But you got your war in your face right now with these required procedures for children and healthy adults. Can we say, that's not a gas chamber over there, those are showers. Aren't those showers? Yeah, let's go take a shower. Well, that was the last thing that some people in the hinterlands experienced. They didn't fight back. They didn't fight back. And they took everything, you know, they trusted too much. They trusted too much. So I don't know, I'll leave it up to you people. I mean, you really think that your answer is sitting around all day watching these morons out there talking about not even just complaining, basically. Just complaining about how bad the things are and we know they're bad. Just keep reminding us. We really fucking need to know that every 5 minutes. That's called fear porn. Hey, once you say something, man, do you have to keep reminding people every half hour, every day? I'm just offering solutions. I'm talking about warriorship. We know what the fuck's going on in the world. If you don't, well then, shame on you. Doom on you. Situation normal, all fucked up. The only easy day was yesterday. Think about that for a minute. Yeah, so, you know, I come on here and I just rail on, don't I, about this shit, but I feel more comfortable railing lately. I'm really liking to rail on wax and wax off about important shit. I just cut right to the nitty gritty. Hey, you know, if anybody can say I'm wrong, or let's put it this way. I've said this before. I'm willing to go anywhere on any one of these people that are squawking out there's channel or whatever and be interviewed. Hey, you can line them up and put them on a paddle and let them all interview me, okay? That's even better. Why? Because I'll have them tripping all over each other's dick. That's why. All you got to do is ask them some just straightforward questions. What the fuck do you really know, and what are you going to do about it? Do you need any more than that? What do you really know? Okay. That's assuming that you've already come to the conclusion of the tyrannical thing. And what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about your freedoms? Man, maybe we should resurrect Davy Crockett and Colonel Travis. Light a fire under your fucking ass. Oh yeah, shamans cuss. If you were wondering. shamans cuss and holy men cuss, and just depends on what crew you came from, you know, what posse you extracted yourself from, you know. Them old posses were something else, weren't they? Old Gabby Hayes and shit. They knew how to get business done. Just hang them from a tree. I mean, there's the limb, there's the rope, there's the bad guy. Of course, they hung a lot of good guys too, but, you know, guess that's called collateral damage. Anyway, I guess I'll just leave it there. I'm going to call this one Remember the Alamo, I guess. I don't know. It's hilarious, people. I mean, man, on one hand I'm crying, and on the other hand I'm laughing my ass off, because the stupidity is incredulous. I mean, and the whining and the, oh man, I mean, I read some of these comments. I'm going to go here in a minute, but I read some of these comments, and the people that are watching these people are they're even more pathetic, because they're just like on a fish line. They're just fish. They're just sleepers. They're just incomplete. And I do feel bad for them. I do. But what can you do with unconscious people? I mean, bitch slap them a few hundred times? Okay. I'll leave it there today. Adios.